Hey guys, today we want to talk about why you shouldn't use topical hair loss treatments. And this comes down to something that I've learned being around lots of doctors over the past 10 years or so since I got my first hair transplant. And that is a word called compliance. And compliance just basically means, do you actually do the thing that you're supposed to do? So if you're taking finasteride, do you actually take finasteride every day? If you're putting on topical minoxidil, do you actually put it on every day or the twice a day or whatever the recommended amount is? Are you compliant? Do you do the task? Do you take the drug? What we found is that topical medications, people are not compliant. So it's not that they don't work. Topical finasteride works. Topical minoxidil works. Most of them seem to work just as well as the oral versions from most of the studies that I've seen. But the problem is that people don't actually do them every day like they're supposed to and don't continue them long term.
Exactly. The compliance is tough. You're thinking about how you have to apply the topical minoxidil. Let's start with minoxidil. You can use finasteride as well. You have to separate the hairs, and you have to get in between the hairs into the scalp. You can't like put it on, drop it on your hair, and kind of push it into your scalp. It's got to go onto the scalp. So those that have like a diffuse thinning, which is more of a female pattern, they don't really have balding, they have a thinning. There's all this hair in the way. In the back, if it's like a bald spot for a guy and it's like skin bald, might be a little bit easier, but the point is you want to also get it into the existing hair to stop from going more bald. It's really hard to do. It sounds like it's not a big deal. What are you talking about? Like just put this stuff on your head twice a day. Good luck. It's just not. I've tried it. David's tried it. I've met two people in my career, in my life, and they both for some reason lived in LA, would come into the office and say, yeah, I've been using minoxidil twice a day for 20 years. And I'm like, really? Like, that's not possible. They're like, oh, I'm two guys. We're trying to save you a lot of time. Understand that you've kind of got to figure this out, because even if you're like really, really pumped up and ready to go, it's really challenging. The only hope I would have out there for anybody watching this is if you're so afraid for one reason or another of these side effects that there's not really many at all in regards to oral finasteride, oral minoxidil, that seems to motivate the guys to be compliant. Like, hey, I'll do anything instead of take a pill. I mean, I guess if there was a statin medication where I could lower my cholesterol and rub it on my body, I would do it, because I don't want to take those pills. So anyway, that's my thoughts about and how hard it is to be compliant with putting topicals on your scalp.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that, we talked about in another video, Redensil, which is a topical that you also put on that's been shown to have some positive effect on hair growth. But anything topical, you have a more difficult time being compliant. To give you one study that I came across, a retrospective study was conducted among 400 consecutive patients with androgenic alopecia who presented to a dermatology clinic and were prescribed minoxidil 2% or 5% in the past 5 years. So it's 400 patients. Of those patients that have been prescribed minoxidil in the past 5 years, 86.3% of them discontinued the use of minoxidil within those 5 years of being prescribed minoxidil. So that's wild. 86%, 340, I think it was 345 of the 400. The chances that you're going to do that is pretty slim. That's why we think that the combo pill of the oral minoxidil and finasteride that Locke Lab has is so useful, is not just because it works, but because it's so easy to be compliant. I hardly ever miss a day of taking my pill, and if you do, it's like you've missed one day. It's so rare because it's so easy to do. So I'm literally just brushing my teeth and I take my pill, and boom, it's so fast and easy to do. There was another thing that I noticed recently. I used the laser helmet, and I got a new laser helmet, and it turns out the new one that I have, the timing on it is a lot faster. So the one that I've been using for years, it's 25 minutes, the amount of time that you need to use it for. And honestly, I haven't found that to be that big of a deal. It hasn't been that difficult for me to be compliant using it the 25 minutes every other day. But when I got this new helmet, that it's either the timing on it, I forget, it's either 10 or 12 minutes. But the difference of cutting that in half and only using 12 minutes after I used it just a couple of times, I was like, wow, this is way better. Because just the difference of how 25 minutes and 12 minutes goes by is massively different. Like to go somewhere that's a 25-minute drive away and stick on your laser helmet, you have to go somewhere that's kind of far. But a place that's 12 minutes away, that's literally just get in your car and go anywhere, and it's going to take you 12 minutes. So the timing goes by so much faster. At first I was like, what's the big deal about 12 minutes? Like, who cares? Just do the 25 minutes. And now I feel a lot more comfortable when I'm going to make this video about this new laser helmet being released. I feel much more comfortable promoting this new helmet because I've really noticed a difference for myself in how much more convenient it is and how much easier I think it is for guys and girls to be compliant using this helmet versus the old one.